Yes. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have liftoff here. Wow. Thank you for joining. What a huge start coming right out of the gate. Everyone's here. Big show. Lots of things to talk about. I'm extremely excited. I also don't really have my thoughts gathered very well, so we'll see how things go. I'm a little low on the organizational skills right now, to be honest with you. But I always have to play the theme twice. Always have to play the theme twice. Okay, so guys, today we're going to be chatting about the new GPT-3 chatbot that has been provided to us by a company called OpenAI. They have produced a variety of incredible products. A lot of you guys have probably seen and played with DALL-E. DALL-E 2 is now available to the public as well. They give you a certain amount of free credits to do a bunch of pictures, and then eventually you got to pay if you want to really use it. We might pay some credits tonight, go down the rabbit hole a little bit. But the most mind-blowing sort of development is this phenomenal chatbot, So to start things off, what I found that's interesting about it is it does a very good job of avoiding what happened with the Google engineer, with Google's chatbot, which is him basically coming to some terms that this thing is sentient, that he's talking to a person, that it expressed a sense of perception of time, yada, yada, yada. From what I've seen, this chatbot is particularly tuned to avoid certain things, like certain conversations like that. It also find certain certain types of topics that'll just be like, sorry, can't talk about that. And there's been a few cases where, depending on how I've asked a question, it's giving me very, very different responses. But all these things are to be expected. It's kind of an experiment. So to kind of start off what this thing is capable of, obviously it has an enormous repository of knowledge. So we can ask it pretty simple questions. Now, I think that because we have such an active chat today, I would like to petition chat for the first question. So what is something that you would like to ask the chatbot? Is there anything you guys want to know about? Is there a particular topic that you're like, I wonder how much it knows about this very specific niche thing? Like, I know one of my friends who might be on here might have a very keen history fact that he might be interested in knowing about, or someone who knows like obscure artists or something. One thing to keep in mind is that it has no knowledge of any events or things that have happened apparently after 2021. So anything that's happened in the recent future, recent past, I should say, is off the books. But anyway, okay, so can you tell me about airline peanuts? Commonly served in airplanes, they're small, light, easy to eat, making them a convenient option for travelers. Peanuts are typically packaged in small bags, containers, and often served with their snacks such as pretzels or crackers. Some people enjoy to eat airline peanuts as a way to pass the time during a flight, while others find them to be unpleasant or unappealing snack. In recent years, concern about food allergies have led some airlines to stop offering peanuts as a snack option. What do you think? How do you like them apples? What is the earliest known poo? This actually is an interesting question. What is the earliest known poo? See what determine the earliest known poo. Feces decomposed quickly and do not typically preserve well. However, scientists have been able to study fossilized feces known as corpullites in order to learn more about the diets and behaviors of ancient animals. Some of the earliest known date back to the Cambrian period, which occurred between 541 million years. Wow, that's a long time. These fossils provide evidence of the existence of early animals such as worms and trilobites. So, again, it's already like, what is in it? What is in the poo? That's can you hit it with a quick why? So what I'm super interested in, this is something that I demonstrated to one of my teams at work the other day, was that like obviously it has knowledge of events and things in the world, but its ability to do things like application coding could be quite cool. So for example, I used let's just ask it a question. So can you create the following application for me in JavaScript? A program where I can enter my date of birth and it will tell me what day of the week I was born on. I just want to just give you an idea of how quick it is. Like it's resoundingly fast. Now what's interesting is this gave me a completely different program than the last time I tried this, but essentially you could potentially, I wonder if I can punch this into Visual Studio. Hold on guys, I'm sorry, we'll follow the chat. One of the annoying things with Chatterino is I can't, no matter where you click, like I can't move the window. It's really picky about where you click on stuff. Anyway, I don't get it. Anyway, I think if you take this code and essentially paste it in a program like Visual Studio, which will detect it as JavaScript, I then should be able to like run it. Test. Save. Sure. And this is where you guys figure out that I actually have no idea how to code anything or do JavaScript. Can I run this without debugging? Let's just try, I'll suck my dick. Anyway, the point is that I'm trying to make is that the applications for this are fucking crazy cool. Like you can enter in. So again, I think another example is using it to write stories. So give it a prompt for, and this is like, I'll show you guys something. So can you write me a story in the style of Cormac McCarthy about the following? A young boy wakes up to the island he lives on. Sorry, he wakes up to. Sorry, I gotta catch up on chat here. Oh, someone's offering me a promotion of a channel. Sick, I love that. Oh, I will ask at that before I get into this. So, will you be the end of us all? It's probably going to give us a very like pre-trained, like, hey, I'm not supposed to scare the humans kind of thing. And another thing that I noticed when I was talking to it is it always will say, I am a large language model trained by OpenAI. It consistently refers to itself as this. I am a large language model trained by OpenAI. Not, and I even said like, hey, do you have a name? As a large language, I do not have a name. I'm simply known as assistant. Da 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 da. So again, like I live in Toronto. Toronto. Oops. I guess it. How long would it take me to walk from here to Mount Everest? So it's kind of cool because it doesn't just like plot out like, oh, you're here, Mount Everest is here, this is how much distance is between you two. It's like, it's not really possible for you to do this because the distance is far too great. It's in the Himalayas. There's also probably like an ocean between you. Like it has like a very interesting, well, or at least it appears to have a contextual understanding of the world as well. So what's super fascinating about this technology and like what it really is potentially going to be enabling in the future is just like, imagine taking, so what's cool about voice recognition, or at least the level that voice recognition has got to, when I started working at a computer store way back in 2001, we used to sell this stuff called Dragon voice recognition software. It was the industry leader in being able to like speak into a microphone and have like speech to text, essentially. The crazy thing about it was that like it was like $1,000 or $1,500 for the software. It was pretty slow. It was pretty error prone. If you didn't speak like English, it had a hard time with that. And although like certain like, you know, specialized applications and versions of it came in over the year, as soon as like machine learning like or algorithmic ways of speech recognition came out, it kind of blew the lid off of like voice recognition. That's why when you do like Siri or Google Home or whatever, it's pretty incredible, like the fact that it can take your words, okay, and it can parse those words. It understands pretty much every word you say to an incredibly high degree of accuracy. The challenge that we find when we use Siri, when we use Google Home or whatever to search for things, and it gives us back dumb answers, is because it's fucking dumb. It knows what you're saying, but it has no idea how to parse that language or those thoughts into any kind of contextual information. So if you ask Alexa, how long would it take me to walk? It's going to be like, okay, you're this far away, and that's all I can tell you about that. It will not be able to give you an answer with a sense of depth, right? And so what excites me about this type of technology and its ability to be just like so quick, so responsive, and have access to such a wide variety of databases, it can really start to like accelerate our knowledge about things. So not only will it like, and so there's the knowledge acceleration aspects, and we'll get to that a little bit. One of the things that I'm particularly excited though is just the way that this thing is going to change interfaces. Okay, so for those of you who are nerds like I am and loved watching Star Trek, can you ask it what the scariest thing about AI? I will. Let me ask that. What is the scariest thing about AI? One of the potential concerns about artificial intelligence is the potential for it to become more intelligent than humans and potentially pose a threat to humanity. This scenario is often referred to as the singularity and is a popular topic in science fiction. While it is difficult to predict the future developments of AI, some experts believe that it is possible for AI to surpass human potentially, and it's just repeating itself at this point, which is also interesting. Anyway, so I mean, there are like serious concerns about not just like the proliferation of necessarily AI, and that's something I even made a PowerPoint, guys. So really, when we talk about artificial intelligence, we're talking about it along a spectrum. Okay, this is the spectrum of AI, right? We started with simple programs, applications. These are things that run on desktops. These are things that run on like large scale servers. Then you have things like machine learning and neural networks. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about, because actually this AI is very good at explaining this stuff about what neural networks actually are, what machine learning really is, and the fact that it really hinges on data. One of the things that it'll keep saying is I'm a large language learning model, and it's learning from training data, and the training data is the conversations we're having with it, but just all of this like conversational chat that it's been told to analyze and explain kind of like what are the outcomes and blah 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 blah. Where we are now with neural networks and AI is highly specialized AI. We're building all kinds of really cool like image recognition. And guys, I promise not to get like super fucking heady and wordy here, but one of the things we are also going to play with is OpenAI. I don't know why it doesn't just take me to, let's go to Dolly. So another amazing product, right? Being able to do like this really cool image generation through, sorry, I don't want to create my account, I want to log in, guys. So all of these current use cases, or a lot of the current use cases for artificial intelligence right now, are pretty highly specialized. Chatbots, virtual assistants, image recognition, image generation, 3D modeling, yada, yada, yada. All of these cool programs are very relatively narrow scope in terms of what they're able to do. So I've got one credit left. I swear, I promise I'm going to buy more here. Does it have any movie? Yeah, let's ask it. Could you recommend a movie for me? Sorry, I can't spell, but I think it also works through that pretty well, which is kind of nice. There's so many great movies to choose from. Blah, blah, blah. The Godfather, The Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, The Dark Knight, The Matrix. This is a good fucking list, I gotta say. I'm not mad at that list. How do we feel about... I feel like that's the doink... the doink list of 2022 right there. I'm impressed. It's decent, right? It's not bad. Okay, so you have these like super hyper specialized, not hyper specialized, but relatively specialized purpose-built artificial intelligence. Then we're going to start getting into things like general purpose AI. Okay, these are AI models that are multidisciplinary. They have eyes, they have ears. They can use those things to play games. They can use what it learns about playing games like in a virtual world and actually taking that into a physical world and playing chess against someone. So training an AI in like a virtual space, playing against people, and then saying, yo, here's a robot arm that you know how to use, and here's a human being, and you have an eye that you can kind of look and play against that person. And what's crazy is these models are able to take these different learnings essentially and apply them into different spaces. Models like this, the one that people got really excited about, we might look at a little bit, is called Gateau. Gateau is, I think it's Google's, do not show it on stream, sure. Gateau AI. DeepMind, so it's Google, it's Alphabet. But the idea behind this is that, yeah, you can just do, let's look for, no, not this. We used to have a better multimodality. That's what it's called. So they are starting to build more models like this, like more multimodal models that are able to do multiple things. What I think is super interesting, though, is this concept of like being able to now pipe like different neural networks into other AI. Like, so one of the things I was asking it, for example, like, are you familiar with? Sorry, guys, I cannot spell to save my life. With the Wolfram language. So we've talked about Wolfram language before on some of the tech talks. It's a programming language developed by Stephen Wolfram. It uses the Mathematica software platform. It's designed for general purpose computation. It handles a lot of symbolic computation. It's really good for doing things like you can take chemistry, physics, all of these different data sets and be able to use them and interact with each other. It's super fascinating. So then about what the Wolfram. So can you use the wolf language? So it doesn't have the ability to use programming language, so Wolfram, blah, blah, blah. So it can do some programming languages that it's been taught. But if you want it to look up something that's on the internet, that's another thing that this particular chatbot has been sort of cut off from doing. It doesn't have that ability. It really has what is this? Oh, is this going to get me in trouble here? Oh, chess robot. Yeah. This is kind of different, though. This wasn't an AI robot. This was a really dumb kid who did something he wasn't supposed to do. They're like, you're not supposed to, like, put your hand over this line, like, as the robot is operating. And he broke the rules, and he got fucked up. If you want to talk about like the scary stuff when it comes to artificial intelligence, I think that it's a lot more insidious and a lot more subtle, the potential dangers of AI. And some of the stuff has been, I can't remember, I'd have to actually look for do you believe in aliens? I do not have beliefs or opinions. I am neutral and unbiased tool. My purpose to provide accurate information. Wow. Whether aliens exist is debate for speculation among scientists in the Republic. I do not have a definitive answer on that topic. That's sus. Aliens confirmed. Aliens confirmed. Aliens are for sure real. And that is... They're like, make sure it doesn't tell them about us, like when they were programming it. There's no fucking way. Anyway, this is, wow. So what I am super excited, like, if you could just take, like, Siri and pipe it into something like this, it would be incredible. You could, like, I was trying to come up with examples, but before this, but I was having a hard time conceptualizing them because they're just so absolutely broad. But your ability to just articulate, hey, phone, show me what this would look like, or can you tell me how long it would take me to do stuff, or okay, so what do you want it to write a blog post on? Give me a topic, and not something like crazy, like give me a on my point of view who's okay, so okay, can you write me a blog post from the perspective of someone who has been abducted by aliens? Okay, wait, I'm gonna put this over here. I don't want you guys to read it yet. It's generating. Write the blog post. Go. Good seeing you. Okay, here it goes. I never thought something this could happen to me, but here I am, writing this post from the depths of space aboard an alien spacecraft. It all started when I was camping out in the woods. I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of a strange humming noise, and before I knew it, I was lifted off the ground in the air by some unseen force. I was terrified, but I was also filled with a sense of wonder and curiosity. The next thing I knew, I was inside a brightly lit room surrounded by strange, otherworldly creatures. They didn't look like anything I'd ever seen before. They had elongated heads and large black eyes. Aliens confirmed. And spindly limbs. They communicated with each other in a language they didn't understand. Again, they would speak telepathically, so they're trying to throw us off the scent. But somehow I knew they meant me no harm. Benevolent aliens. I was taken to another part of the ship where they were subjected to a series of tests and examinations. Okay, classic aliens. Aliens seemed to be studying my body and brain, taking samples of my DNA and observing my reactions to different stimuli. I was scared, but I was also fascinated by the experience. After what felt like an eternity, the aliens returned me to Earth. I was left with no memory of how I got back, but I knew I had been changed by the experience. I was no longer the same person I'd been before. I was filled with a sense of awe and wonder at the vastness of the universe and the possibility of life beyond. This is cute. Like, this is really fucking cute. And I know that some people might not believe, but I can assure you that everything I've written here is true. I have been abducted by aliens, and my life will never be the same. Okay, I need what's chat better be blowing up. It's definitely written. It's really good. It's really yeah. Well, of course, and yes, and that is something again that like it. And oh, there was something that I was trying to do with it, like, which was like, for example, hey, if I give you suggestions on how you can improve chatting with me, are you interested in hearing those? So this is interesting. It's not capable of improving my ability to chat with you or any other user. I'm designed to assist users with a wide range of tasks, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what this means is a couple things. One, they are 1000% logging all of these chats, analyzing all this information, taking that analysis and using that to improve the responses and improve the outputs of the network. What it is saying, though, concretely, and what's more than likely true, is it is not actively back-propagating changes to the network as it talks to me. So one of the things that is interesting about the chat bot is that it will remember, like, if we talk to it for a couple of hours here and we call back to, like, hey, can you remind me what we were talking about at the beginning of this, or like, hey, let's ask it, like, hey, what was the first question I asked you again? Can you turn about airline peanuts, right? So it has the ability to recall in its immediate short-term memory. But as soon as I close the window and the session, it blanks out. It doesn't take that information and hold it. And when I come back, it's not like, oh, hey, I missed talking with you about blah, 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 or having this conversation about yada, yada, yada. So it's not actively improving the network. But I'm, like I said, I'm sure that at some point, let me take a stab at this. Okay, let's give it the same task, but let's give it a style. So who was the super depressed Russian writer? Was it Dostoevsky, or there's another one too, just sad Russian writers. Gogol, Chekhov, Zelenko, who's my favorite? Tolstoy. Let's see this. Okay. Can you write me a blog post about being abducted by aliens? Sorry. Wait. By aliens. aliens in the style of Tolstoy. Okay. Okay, this could be good. So already I can see the story is virtually identical, right? Couldn't imagine this happened to me. Here I am, blah, 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 right? Begins the peaceful evening beneath the stars, lost in thought, suddenly a humming noise, da 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 da. Feeling of dread, right? This one is not like, hey, but I was excited about the experience. Blah, blah, blah. This is pretty much, oh yeah, I beheld their grotesque forms with horror. So it's like a very different tone. Okay, let's say now, can you write me the same blog post, but in the style of Cormac McCarthy? Ooh, I stumped you. Let's see if it, oh, no way. Okay, it's doing it. It's doing it. This is very sick. 1 second, just gotta check the command line here. Looking good, looking good. Oh, okay. It was a dark and stormy night when they came for me. I was out in the woods alone, unarmed. I had no idea the terror that awaited me. At first, I thought it was just a thunderstorm. Then I heard the humming noise growing louder and louder. I was left on the ground, my body weightless and helpless. It is like thinner, which is very McCarthy. Like it's definitely got a forward place in a horror. Aliens were like anything ever, da 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 da, with malice, intelligence in their world, taking the chamber where they performed their experiments on me. They took samples of this. Then suddenly they left me no memory. Okay. Interesting how it takes like different angles on it. Obviously, you could use this for a wide variety of different types of plagiarism. I think to a certain extent, there's also like countermeasures that are built into it and can be built into it that can prevent that kind of thing. Something that's been a real problem already in the coding world is that people are using it to generate answers on like Stack Overflow and all these other like coding platforms. And it's causing all kinds of problems. Let's look at, while we're having some fun, I was wondering if you guys, by any chance, have a good Dolly prompt for me. Can it write lyrics to a song about... Oh, okay. Yes. Can you write lyrics to a song about alien abduction in the style of Fred Durst? Okay, this is the ultimate test of the AI, I think. Let's see. Steve. Okay, so it will have a hard time with people. Like, if you want it to generate a person, like a particular face, it's gonna have a hard time with that, and it's gonna usually misinterpolate that request. But we'll check it out. So let's see. Verse, it was a dark and stormy night when they came and took me from my life. I was alone unprepared, but they didn't care. Alien abduction, they took me away. Now I'm stuck on this spaceship, can't escape. They did experiments, studied my brain, but I won't let them win. I'll break free someday. Okay, is this good? Are we on to something? Are we on to... They were creatures from another world with elongated heads, black, unblinking eyes. They spoke in a language I didn't understand, but I could feel malice in their command. Alien abduction, they took me away. Now it's like a spaceship, can't escape. They did experiment. Oh, and now if only there was like, we had like an audio AI that could be like, spit me out a song in the style of Limp Bizkit. We could literally... compose. Yeah, we can you put same lyrics but put a few more years in there. Let's see what it says. So this is interesting. Will it understand? Like I said, same lyrics, but do like? Oh my god! Alien abduction, yeah, it took me away. And I was stuck in a spaceship, can't escape. Did experiments, yeah, studied my brain. But I won't let them win. I'll break free someday. This is incredible. What? Okay, well, we gotta go to this. What is this? What is this? Embedded real people's voices. Open Studio. Okay. Okay. Connect me with Google. Sure. What do I got? What do I gotta do here? Let's do the Serious Rollerblader account. I'm a content creator. I want to do... What are we going to do here? My awesome project. I want to do... It's a song, isn't it? So... Audio ad? Art is easy. Great project. Let's see what happens here. My awesome project. Okay. Oh, I see. I see what to do. I see what we're gonna do. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay.
It was a dark and stormy night.
Okay. Oh, this just does the voice part of it, I guess. Anyway. This is fucking great. Like introduction. Yeah, it took me. I probably have to. Oh, it's. I mean, it's forever saved. Can I do all of these in delete? How do I delete this project? Let's go home. Let's do a new project. Let's do a public announcement. Okay. Sorry, copying and pasting is hard. Okay. All right. So what will this do? Okay. Do I guess I hit play. Okay. This could be good. This could be good.
Alien abduction. Yeah, they took me away. Now I'm stuck on their spaceship, can't escape. They did experiments, yeah, studied my brain. But I won't let them win. I'll break free Samita.
Samita.
It was a dark and stormy night when they came and took me from my life. I was alone and unprepared. But they didn't care. They were creatures from another world, with elongated heads and black, unblinking eyes. They spoke in a language I didn't understand, but I could feel the malice in their command. Alien abduction, yeah, they took me away. Now I'm stuck on their spaceship, can't escape. They did experiments, yeah, studied my brain. But I won't let them win, I'll break free someday.
Does this, is there a Fred, imagine there was a Fred Durst? Adult. I want an old guy. Old man. Give me an old man. Everyone's pro. Let's try Miles. Let's see what Miles is like. Oh, this one? Okay. Whoops, sorry. What am I doing here? Let me just grab all of this because I hate doing this in. There we go. It's going to be much better. What's this? Text to speech. Create text. Textual shenanigans here. Okay, it's there. Speak it, bitch. Too much text? Is that the problem? Pending. Okay. Got a second. Choose musician voice Fred Durst. Oh, what? Stop. All right, I'll make a stupid membership. How much is this? $0 a month. Level 1 registered users. Unlimited generation up to 12 seconds of audio. Up to 30. Okay, sure. Sure. Sign up. $1 later. Fuck this. Okay, let's go. Sign up. Okay. This might be the. If we can bring this all together, this might work out really well. I'm kind of excited. Username is too long. Rollerblader then. What do you want from me? What it has says username is too long. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry guys. Fred Durst. And then we go like this. Go like this, go like this. Too much? Too much. Okay, it's gonna wait, it's gonna process. And then we should be able to put that over this or something like this. That's perfect music, right? Okay, this is okay. How much do I have to pay for this to not suck? Is something I'd like to know. Let's see here. It's $7 a month, unlimited generation, up to 30 seconds of audio, up to 1 minute of video. Unlimited generation. I don't care about that. What makes me not wait? That is what I really care about. I'm assuming the plus version. Still pending. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, guys, here we go. Thank you for your patience. I think I hope this is the best thing ever.
It was a dark and stormy night when they came and took me from my life. I was alone and unprepared, but they didn't give. It was a dark.
He's a little slower. He didn't to fix some of the tempo. Is there a way to do that?
Dark and stormy night when they came and took me from my life. I was alone and unprepared, but they didn't give.
Okay, we need to throw the yeah in there. We need to hear this with a fucking yeah. Okay. We can wait a few minutes. I don't know where to go. This is pretty great. It's the Processing priority, I think. Yeah, you're right. Processing priority. Level 20. Interesting. I don't know. We'll see how far this goes. If it's worth it, I don't mind spending. I'll spend $10 on the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. This is fucking great. It's like it's bad, but it's. Wait.
It was a dark and
Okay, that's the same one.
it was a dark and
Process the same one twice. Okay. I see what it does. It puts them into. Okay. Okay. Cool. So you could chunk it. So one of the things to keep in mind too, and this is something that's going to be like really important for all of us as like Pete, let's like just a reality check for a second, is people who like use these products, right? Anything that's available to you for free, obviously, you know, be weary of, because they're definitely going to be like, you know, using your data and blah, 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 blah. Neural networks and processing this stuff requires computing power, it requires data centers, it requires resources. So if you don't have like, you know, a lot of computation to back this stuff up, or you can't do it at a very low cost, like it makes sense that some of these services cost money. It's just a matter of like, how good is it? Is it actually worth the money for you? So something stupid and like a novelty like this, it's 1000% worth. Like, I think we're not far from having like a fully fleshed out Limp Bizkit song here. It's let's see how this sounds. One sec. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
an introduction. If they took me away, now I'm stuck on their spaceship. Can't escape, they did a permanent to steady my brain, but I won't let them win outright free someday.
Whoa, wait. What? That sounded like Wesley Willis. Okay, maybe we need to fix the yeah. Okay, and put a period in there to like try and. Okay, let's just try this again. Just to.
An introduction. If they took me away, now I'm stuck on their spaceship. Can't escape, they did a permanent to steady my brain, but I won't let them win outright free someday.
Okay. So this is what. So remember what I was just saying about whether the product is good or not, or whether it actually does what you think it's going to do. This is an example of something that doesn't. So someone has clearly taken like some kind of text-to-speech like model and modified it, modded it just slightly, and it's not doing a great job of like experiments. Did I spell experiments? I spelled it right. I'm an idiot, but I still spelled that right. Okay, let's see. Okay, hold on. Actually, can I cancel that? Fuck. Okay, I want to see if I can do a bit of a bigger blurb of text, because I feel like that would hit better, right? Okay. Okay, let's process this one and see how that goes. Okay, so anyway, these products are incredible, but like the truth is that I don't think they're going to be like super democratized. Like a certain element of them will obviously be made available to us. Like it's not going to take long for companies like Apple and Google's already doing their own version of this, so they're not going to be using like OpenAI's version, but you know, you're going to have more of these machine learning models behind the scenes, you know, kind of contextualizing your searches and yada yada yada. That does leave also a lot of questions for the type of like data that they will collect on us, the footprints that we will leave behind, and how that data is going to be like used against us. So that's something that we have to be like super cognizant of as consumers of these things, right? As people are going to be using these products, and you know, if we have any say in shaping, you know, the best practices and the consumer protections and stuff like that, we have to be good advocates for that. So one of the things that I found was actually super interesting was a friend of mine he messaged me about this, and he's like, "Oh, Picard's wouldn't approve." But we're not there yet. So we've been looking at specific little machine learning. This is another example of a great little niche product that does stuff for us. But if we're talking about artificial general intelligence, which is the singularity, which is an AI that is self-aware and has like, well, we basically will attenuate like human conditions too. we are so far away from that. Like, again, we are more over here than we're maybe getting closer to general purpose AI. But let's hear what Fred Durst has to say over this beat, if I can get it to work. Oh, sorry, not me to press that.
As introduction, they took me away, now I'm stuck on their spaceship. Can't escape, they did a permanently study my brain, but I won't let them win. I'll break free someday, they were creatures from another world with elongated heads and black. I'm looking as they spoke.
Okay, it's bad. This music, great. The lyrics, bad. What's interesting about this, though, is it probably wouldn't be that difficult to, like, you know, with a couple experiments, you could slow things down, you could parse things, and with some, like, editing software, you could probably put together, like, a fairly hilarious little, like, you know, Fred Durst compilation. But it would take effort. What's funny, though, is that it's not going to take long for us to start, like, again, with, like, models like Gato. And you know, this is the type of, like, the level of interfacing that we will be able to do with different resources or websites, being like, hey, can you, like, imagine being able to tell your at your computer, hey, can you make me a program like this, but it does that instead? Simple as that. Like, hey, can you make me an Uber app, but it's for this? Okay. Like, that is not that far away at this point. And that's what's, like, super, super exciting and incredibly, I don't know, inspiring about technologies like this. And again, what's super fascinating is we're seeing like the chat bot is really in its, like, infancy. This is I'm sure, like, a public sort of beta that they're making available to people. What these things are capable when they sort of unleash the real power. Like, imagine being able to plug something like this into the internet, have it be able to query websites for you, have it be able to consistently look up things on Wikipedia or whatever, or even being able to say, like, hey, can you give me a summary of today's news, right? Like, can you watch CNN for me and tell me what I missed? All kinds of exciting stuff. Okay, I need an image prompt from you guys. I need something to put into the Zach Taylor Rocha for sure. Yeah, I mean, you could prompt it with some stuff like creative tasks, like okay, how about this? I got one for you. Let's see if it's able to do this. Can you write me high-level Seinfeld episode? Sorry, can you write me a Seinfeld episode? It might not like this. This it might say fuck you on. We'll see. Okay, it's doing it. Wait, what? It's actually doing it. Hold on, let's generate a Dolly prompt and see what. Okay, you guys are with me? Please tell me you guys are with me right now. Okay, this is a good one. I like this one. Okay, is anyone seeing Jerry's apartment? Jerry, hey, you ever smoke weed? Elaine, no, I don't do drugs. Jerry, really? You never gotten high? No, never even tried it. Jerry, well, I got some marijuana. You want to give it a try? Ellen, I don't know, Jerry. It's illegal, you know. Jerry, come on, Elaine. It's not like we're going to get caught. We'll just smoke a little and see what happens. Elaine, okay, fine. But we'll have to be careful. Jerry, don't worry, Elaine. I've done this before. Jerry and Elaine proceed to smoke marijuana. They get to feel the effects and begin laughing uncontrollably. Oh my God, Jerry, I'm so high. Jerry, I know, right? It's amazing. What do we do now? I don't know. Just watch the TV and see what happens. Jerry, Elaine, turn on the TV. Is anyone else finding this fucking hilarious? I'm gonna get this made into a t-shirt for sure. The Simpsons, like the Simpsons style one. This is so good. Oh my god. Oh my, his face is literally melting off. Okay. And this one's great too. Holy. So something people often be like, why are the faces fucked up? Their face, that is a purposeful countermeasure. They are purposely putting that in order to avoid these tools being abused and being able to create replicas of real people or be able to use photo banks of stuff. They purposely will obfuscate features and make things to make it less like a person or make it like a less identifiable person. So let's, okay, we got to save all of these just for the record. This is like, this episode is incredible. This is a really good episode. Like, you're like, you're sorry, no, don't do drugs. Really, you never got. Oh God. Okay. Give me a sec here. I gotta download all this stuff. This is just too good. It's too. I'm gonna turn one of these into. You can hear it, right? Like you can hear it in there. Okay. Hey, can you write the same scene as above but longer with Kramer and George in it? I can't click. Let's see if it figures it out. I'm turning one of these into a chat icon for sure. We're gonna upgrade the doink with a Jerry Seinfeld. All right, let's see how this changes. It's about the same. okay. Oh, this I can already see where this. Okay, before Kramer enters. Hey, what's going on? Hey, we're just smoking weed. Kramer, want to join us? Yeah, sure. I've been meaning to try some of that stuff. Kramer joins. I just smoking the marijuana. They start to feel the effects. Elaine, oh my. Okay, same thing but longer. Go. Let's see if it can spit out more. If it and what's interesting is, like, again, it's contextually understanding what I'm trying to articulate. It's not, when I say longer, it's probably going to interpolate. Sure, there's a longer version of the Seinfeld episode. Okay, here we go. Like, some AI might interpret it as like, okay, I made the text longer. Like, it's there you go. It's what you asked for. I wonder, oh, I know what the problem is. I think I know what the problem is. There is more than likely there's probably a character limit to the responses. Like, it's not going to give you a response that's going to require 3 pages of text, right? It's probably going to keep things fairly concise. Like, you notice, like, all of these answers are about the same size. Like, even the stories, right? Like, yeah, I think that is more than likely the constraint. But anyway, so it's just fucking great. This is so good. Very cool. Very cool. I did have a couple other things lined up, and then my fucking computer crashed, which was really great. What? Oh, that's right. Oh, hold on a second. You know the James Webb Space. Another thing, guys, I'll send you guys the link, actually. It is... you can all sign up for Dolly 2. The way that it works is... Oh, I gotta get this last one too. The way that it works is you get credits. I think you get 50 credits to start, and then it refreshes like 15 credits every month or every 2 weeks or something like that. You can also buy credits, which I'm just gonna do. Why not? $15 for a whole bunch of credits seems like a good deal. Did that work? Cool. Let's set it up. Sorry guys, just paying for this. Cool. Include postal code. Oh, okay. That's why. You got it. Let's do it. So, James Webb Space Telescope. So this is where we run up against one of its first limitations, right? We're like, oh shit, you can't show, and it's not meant necessarily that. It's meant to do plain sort of conversational language generation is sort of the name of the game with this tool. So at a high level, it's going to be able to chat with you, and that's about it. And its responses are going to be fairly limited. It even says that if you go back to kind of if you go to the main dashboard, in terms of what is limitations, it even talks about sometimes it will give like bad answers to things. It can even give you, you have to be careful, it can give you answers that could be dangerous potentially. So it's like, don't try anything that it tells you to do. Like, don't actually listen to this thing. Like, it might say some crazy shit. Another thing too that I noticed, and this is more just anecdotal, but when I was doing a bunch of like image generation of stuff, I noticed that like a lot of the folks in it are white. Not sure why that is, but there could be some like training data biases as well that could be built into this stuff. That was, again, me just noticing anecdotally, but like I generated a couple of pictures. Actually, I can show you because I think Dolly saves your image history. Let's see if I was right or wrong. History. What is it? Oh, yeah. I just noticed I was trying to photo 5 frames from Twilight Imperium. Mind you, it just looks like a lot of white dudes, a lot of white people. I mean, they also look like goblins too, so that could just be me reading into it. But this fucking prompt was pretty sick though. A photo of a man left behind on the moon. There's some really, really like compellingly interesting artwork. Like this one, I love. But you can't zoom in on it. This okay. Like you go from these like really like compelling, like wow, this is like cool, to that. Or that. Oh, this is a man lost on the moon. My apologies. The prompt's a little different. Oh, I was saying a horse that looks like an alien, and it just generated me fucking horses. So again, I don't know if it's just like the horses are the aliens, dude. Like I tried like a horse that looks like Data from Star Trek. That didn't work. It just a Mulder and Scully from the X-Files. It really just like. I'm not sure why it settled on those features, but that's what it went with. Okay, one of you guys gave me a good prompt. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, totally. But it depends. So a lot of APIs will be free up until a certain amount of hits. A lot of the times you would need to... Oh, like, okay, how about this? Let's do... Kitty. Sorry, my cat. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. Okay, my cat is actually... Okay, he's going to take down the stream in a second. Get back. Get back. What are you doing, you crazy little shithead? Got caught in all the cables. Oh, okay. let's ask our friend. Can you help me write a help me call the open API? Sorry, but enable is a large language model. I am not connected to the API anyway. I don't have the ability to access or use the API as a tool. Okay, how does the API work? To use the API, developers first need to sign up for an API key on the OpenAI website. Once they have the API key, they can then use the API to access these models and algorithms provided by OpenAI. API uses a RESTful architecture, which means that most students act using HTTP request, get, or post. Okay. Each model algorithm put on a set of parameters, capabilities. OpenAI is a powerful tool. Where can I learn how to use this API? You can visit the OpenAI website, read documentation provided there, blah, blah, blah. Additional documentation provide open search for using, Stack Overflow or GitHub. So yeah, there's probably some like interesting projects out there. Yeah, so you'll have like things like rate limiting, where they'll say, hey, you can only hit it so many times, or they might just straight up like not like block you after a while, be like, hey, you've literally hit this, like we'll only let you call the API 50 times for free, and then that's it, never again. But I digress. So there is definitely like other capabilities. You could use other frameworks, like potentially even the Wolfram language, to query the OpenAI GPT-3 model to get a result back. So you could write all kinds of programs that will be able to tap into this eventually. Here we go. Prompt, write a tagline, completion of service models with every scoop. Okay. The quick start tutorial, introduction, cool. Start with an instruction, cool. Add some examples. Okay, adjust your settings. Build your application. Add your API key. There you go. Run the app. Run dev. Understand the code. Generate prompt. Okay. Okay, this actually isn't that complicated. Now that I'm looking at this is very doable. This is even doable by someone like me, potentially, if you really wanted to. You would just need to figure out what you wanted your prompts to be. And you would need to do this in some kind of Linux shell, I would imagine. So I don't think you could do this in necessarily Windows. What's this? Node.js. Okay, and cloning this repository. Cool, very cool. This is sick. So I wanted to kick you guys an interesting idea. There's a dude that I know. Where is it? Okay, so we have a friend. He does this thing called Cyber Omelet, and he built a really, really interesting thing for his sister, who is some type of research biologist. I was thinking about like an interesting. First of all, just want to big up his research because it's fucking brilliant. But I also think that there's an incredibly practical application for myself. So next week's Tech Talk is when I'm going to be implementing this. And I don't know if one of my friends who works in the office that I work in is still around, but they're going to be seeing me soon because I need to come in and do some printing. But I'm going to show you a very quick 5-minute video of my friend Ben, who did this incredible project using essentially a machine learning model to analyze video. And so the way that they came up with a way of essentially tracking cats so that they could analyze their feeding behavior. Well, if I was thinking about what else could I potentially want to track? And I think it would be super interesting to track something like this, the consumption of my vaporizer, my Juul. And I'm often sitting in front of my camera or have another camera that I could train on myself. And I could use little QR code like stickers that it could pick up on. Every time I pick it up and bring it up to into frame, it will count and record the number of times that I use it. So I can start to build like a data model for how frequently I'm hitting my Juul when I'm not paying attention to it, and start to learn from that data and maybe use that to potentially improve my habits. So I'm going to kick this video about this really, really cool experiment that he did, and we'll take it from there. Make sure I don't blow out ears.
I'm Ben from the Cyber Omelet. I am here to talk about a pretty cool project I've been working on for the last 2 years, collaborating with my sister,
Bailey Egan,
who is
an applied animal biology researcher at the University of British Columbia.
she came up to me and was like,
Hey Ben, can you find a way to automatically track cats in an animal shelter to find out if they're eating, drinking, and using the litter box?
litter box. I thought I was going to build an RFID system, but that turned out to be really hard. I then turned to computer vision, and while there's some pretty cool neural networks, they need to be trained on the specific cats. Got thinking that maybe we could just track an easily understood visual tag, and came across a great solution using something inside the OpenCV library called Aruco. These are just a library of unique tags that can be identified by OpenCV, and they were actually originally used to track robots playing soccer, but it seemed like a really easy request to apply this to the cats as well. She ran a study this summer on a bunch of cats where we were able to validate this as a technology. This has been dubbed Behavior Real-Time Spatial Tracking ID, or BURSTED.
Thanks to funding and support by NSERC and the BCSPCA, we were able to actually test out the BURSTED system this year in an animal shelter setting when we had many, many cats that all looked identical, but they needed to be group housed. So we had paper veterinary ID colors that were attached, and then we simply just attached the unique tags to each collar, and then we monitored their eating or drinking behavior. Now, to validate this technology, we also manually coded those videos to see how much the BURSTED output corresponded to the human-coded reports of whether the cats were eating or drinking. And we found that we had very, very highly correlated outputs between what the BURSTED system said and what the human said.
What I want to give you now is a demo of actually running this yourself. It should be agnostic to compute platform, but it all starts
By the way, this is very cool. It's incredibly easy to implement, and he does it in like less than 3
going
minutes, basically.
to the repo. So if you just Google Ben Rules 2 Burst GitHub, get a link to my page, get to Burst. So you'll start by just copying the path in GitHub, clone, paste that in there. If you're on Mac, you'll also want to run brew install OpenCV. If you're on another system, I would head to OpenCV to find out how to install that. Okay, so I'm already up to date there. You'll also have to install the requirements that came with this package. Now install those, and I've already got those too. But there's a link down here as well. Once you are set up, just copy pasting this should show you a happy little dog named Rupert, and he's got sort of the prototype test run of this system, and you can see it starts recognizing. Another really neat thing we can do is path -- ROI. What that lets us do is draw a box around where we want to look for the tag. So let's say this cushion had his food dish, putting it there.
So my idea here is take a very simpler concept where I'm able to crop my video and define a specific space right about where my face is. And that whenever I bring this into frame, theoretically, it should detect it. And then I'll be able to get some results off that and see over a course of time. Like I could take my stream and just run like the computation on it and get some kind of an output, which would be super interesting.
And when he turns just a bit, you can see it.
It's logging, like it's putting into a CSV, like just a regular Excel style CSV that gives you the frame time and the coordinates of that particular.
You can see that it's in ROI 0 as well. So you can actually draw multiple ROIs and track where the subject is for a bunch of different regions of interest. You can also just pass in video files without streaming from your computer. And in that case, not previewing might save you some processing time. So those are some things you can play with. There's also a directory in here called markers. So if I say open markers, you can see we've got 15 distinct markers. Let's open. If I just print this off, we can track that marker. I've got it. Now you can see, I hold this up.
It's as easy as
Spin
that.
it around. This is an example where we've got two different ones. And very low barrier of entry to get started with this, and a lot of different ways it can be applied. I think the question of expanding the computer vision capabilities is really interesting. This is very crude, literally just looks in every frame if the markers are identifiable. But if we use state and context from previous frames, we could create a model of motion through the scene. If anybody wants to contribute to this repo, help with the computer vision tracking, pose some neural network based alternatives, I will be watching for pull requests. This has also been published in scientific reports. I'll drop a link to that publication.
Well, the study that we worked on validated this technology for eating and drinking behavior in shelter cats. We hope that Bursted can be used for a wide variety of animals in a range of settings by anyone who wants to work on it. Being able to closely track animal behavior like this might not only benefit research, but it also has the potential to be able to help inform much, much better care of the animals that we take care of. So hopefully there will be much more research to come on this. And if you want to get in touch with me or learn more about our work, you can check out my website below.
Very cool. It's a sick little experiment. So that is one of the things that I'm very excited to try for next week's Tech Talk. We're going to experiment with a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm basically going to build some video, a couple of source videos, try running through it, just see how it works, and then get a handle for it. Before we end tonight's stream, I wanted to show you guys an exciting... Can you imagine? Just like that's your face tattoo. It's just one of those QRs. It's like, yo, dude, what's up? Let's go. Just set off his shit all the time. Be like, dude, you're ruining my life. I thought it would be a really great opportunity. It's been a while since we've watched our boy Anton Petrov. He is a phenomenal YouTuber who does wonderful videos on what's going on in space and astrophysics and all these other exciting things. There was recently a really, really cool launch into space where a whole bunch of microsatellites were sent out. Some of them were working, some of them weren't. But I did want to watch this video because for some of the audience, I know this is going to be super exciting for you. There have been some updates from the James Webb Space Telescope. You know, Christmas is right around the corner. And for those of you guys who remember, we got an incredible Christmas present last year. And that was the successful launch of the James Webb Space Telescope into outer space and off 1,000,000 miles away from the planet Earth, where it's just hanging out and just slowly orbiting us and taking some of the most incredible photos that we have ever had access to. So I'm going to give our boy Anton a few minutes of time just to kind of walk us through some of these exciting photographs, some of what it means, and yeah, we'll just go from there.
Here it comes, the James Webb Space Telescope. Hello wonderful person, this is Anton, and today we're going to be discussing new observations and new discoveries coming from the iconic James Webb Space Telescope. The continuation of the series of videos where I basically explore pretty much every major discovery the telescope has made in the last few months. You can actually find some of the previous videos in the description, but today we're going to be focusing on the new stuff. New incredible pictures and media that was essentially released very recently.
It's just a very cool shit, by the way, guys. Like these photographs of Titan are incredible.
And let's start with this one right here. My favorite object in the solar system, well, I guess except for planet Earth. Titan, the moon of Saturn.
Interesting.
The most interesting moon in the solar system because it's the only other object we know of, except for planet Earth, that contains things like liquid cycles, thick and active atmosphere, and even has rains and clouds. Which is exactly what the scientists were able to see recently by pointing the telescope directly at Titan. They were able to see through the very thick atmosphere, detecting various atmospheric effects such as clouds, and what seems to be some kind of atmospheric haze. But unlike Earth, none of this is made out of water. These are very likely methane clouds. And that's because the liquid cycle here is mostly methane and ethane, with extremely cold conditions of something like minus 300 Fahrenheit or approximately minus 180 Celsius. But here, the nitrogen-rich atmosphere actually hides a lot of the surface, making this moon appear this way. And since the atmosphere is about 50% denser than on planet Earth, visual observations with, for example, Hubble telescope become practically impossible. But by using radar and also infrared light, it becomes possible to see through all of this. And to everyone's surprise, they found at least 2 clouds. But the thing is, clouds here are kind of rare. Previous detection of clouds was by the Cassini probe back in the early 2000s, and even here, not a lot of clouds were detected, and many disappeared very quickly afterwards. And so there is a bit of a mystery as to why Titan doesn't seem to possess as many clouds as we expect it to possess, because it does have this methane cycle that's supposed to create visible clouds. But the scientists think that they might actually have a pretty good answer. The answer being seasons. It seems to be a seasonal activity related to the part of the year, and a single year on Titan is approximately 30 Earth years. Which means that maybe Titan is actually re-entering the same season it had originally when the first clouds were seen here, and in between this, not a lot happens in the atmosphere, making a lot of the clouds invisible. Although here, not just James Webb but also the Keck telescope, or WMKEC observatory located in Hawaii, was used to confirm the existence of these clouds. And even approximately 2 days later, the clouds were still there, but a little bit different. Which of course, first of all, confirms that these were clouds, but also suggests that maybe this was some kind of storm-like activity
so they're clouds for
with
sure.
a potential rain, methane rain, somewhere in these regions. But because we have an upcoming mission that I've discussed in one of the previous videos, the Dragonfly mission, we're going to be learning more about this in approximately 10 years from now, when NASA once again lands on Titan and starts exploring this using a helicopter. Anyway, so that's the first image. Then we have something that looks like this.
Whoa.
This might look a little bit exotic and unusual, but you've actually seen this image before. This is the reprocessed version of the SMACS J0723 image, one of the first images released by the James Webb. But in this case, it was reprocessed to show us something that was not visible originally. This is related to one of the recent videos you can find in the description about the so-called intergalactic light, also known as ICL or intercluster light, the light coming from stars that were basically kicked out from various galaxies and are now stuck between galaxies. They obviously still produce some light, but because they're so dim, it's practically impossible to detect any of them. As a matter of fact, this light is so dim that it's approximately 50 times dimmer than the darkest spot on planet Earth, so it's very difficult to find it. But here, the scientists were able to reprocess this image, potentially discovering a lot of intercluster light in the middle of this particular galactic cluster. Mostly because many of these stars are much easier visible in the infrared light than the optical light. With the main purpose for these studies essentially being the understanding of the evolution of galaxies and the evolution of these massive clusters. And in this case, they discovered that the inner part of this particular cluster seems to be dominated by the merger of really massive galaxies. But on the outer parts of the cluster, most of the merger and interaction comes from the galaxies similar to the Milky Way. So there's definitely a bit of a difference there already. But on top of this particular intercluster light can also help us detect something else. The mysterious dark matter. Because the light coming from these stars comes from a much wider area, it becomes possible to trace the path of this light as it's bent by the dark matter located in these particular clusters, which presents a lot of opportunities for scientists to figure out how the dark matter is distributed in these clusters, and thus naturally try to understand its origin as well. But at least for now, all we get is this beautiful image. We also get a major update from the exoplanet known as WASP-39b. As I mentioned in one of the previous videos, this was always one of the main targets for the first observations of the telescope, because it has a perfect opportunity to teach us about the atmosphere of these particular planets, since it's so close to its parent star, and since it's actually relatively easy to see everything happening in this particular star system.
Okay.
And so just like that, we now have new updates from the recently analyzed observation.
So that obviously makes sense for a variety of different reasons. The closer that a planet is to the star, the more light that's going to be able to bounce off it, and the easier it's going to be for us to detect it and make subsequent analyses on its composition, what it's made of, and possibly other properties.
This particular planet, which is technically a hot Saturn, basically a gas giant that's extremely close to the Sun, but is not as massive as Jupiter, seems to contain quite a lot of molecules in its atmosphere, with certain molecules that were expected missing in the process. The one that was found in abundance is this one right here, sulfur dioxide, a molecule produced from chemical reactions triggered by extremely high energy light coming from the star itself. And this is an important finding because it's the first confirmation of what's known as photochemistry happening around a very different planet. The only such activity we know of is right here on planet Earth. Ozone layer, that's I guess one of the examples. Ozone layer is produced via photochemistry. When the radiation from the sun strikes the upper atmosphere, it converts some of the oxygen molecules into O3, ozone. And that is extremely important, as you probably know, to the preservation of life. Finding these types of examples of photochemistry in other star systems is one of the main goals of the telescope. Or I guess it was until now, because it just officially found it.
It did it, so
with
it's
all the
done,
studies
it's over.
related to this available in the description below.
This is
But what's
cool.
really intriguing about this particular planet is of course its proximity to the star. It's about 8 times closer to its parent star than the planet Mercury. And because of this, the
Whoa.
amount of light it receives
That's
from the
crazy.
star is
Mercury's
absolutely
fucking close,
ridiculous.
too, like-
Which is exactly why the photochemistry here becomes a lot more exotic than around planet Earth. It produces these sulfur dioxide clouds, but it also contains sodium, carbon dioxide, a little bit of carbon monoxide, but even water as well. Which doesn't really come as a surprise because this was originally the planet where water was found a few months ago. Although here we're talking about water vapor or molecular water, not really liquid water. But some things that were expected, such as methane and hydrogen sulfide, were completely absent from the observations. At the moment the scientists cannot explain why, but it probably does have something to do with really complex chemistry that's mostly caused by extremely powerful starlight coming from the parent star. More importantly, this of course confirms that we can now use these observations on other exciting planets, including some terrestrial planets such as the ones in the TRAPPIST-1 system. And I'm sure when the data for that comes out, it's going to be one of the most exciting announcements coming from the telescope. But at least for scientists, and at least for now, this definitively proves that James Webb Space Telescope can easily discern a lot of different molecules in even relatively distant planets. This planet right here is about 700 light years away from us, so this is technically one of the farther planets analyzed to date.
That's crazy. And like understanding obviously the composition of other planets is very important for us to understand how, just in general how planets are formed, but also how like common or rare Earths are, right? And from our observations so far, we're pretty fucking rare. Like there's not a ton of planets that seem to, at least nearby that we've been able to detect or see that have any properties near or close to ours. And one of the challenges with science too is like, if you can only see like super or, hot Saturns that are really close to their suns, it's probably going to preclude you from seeing some of those more Goldilocks style planets that could have liquid water, that could have land on them, and could potentially be hospitable to life.
In comparison, TRAPPIST-1 system is approximately 20 times closer, but we're not going to know much more about these planets until future observations. And then we have some of the new analysis and new observations, and actually one of the first peer-reviewed papers about some of the most distant galaxies discovered so far. Although in this case, these were some of the most distant confirmed galaxies. There are actually several other candidates.
So I did want to show you guys this, without getting too far into the science, the heavy science nerdy shit. James Webb Space Telescope. Some of the photos that have been coming out of it are just nuts. Like, let's go. Titan. The pillars of creation are incredible. There's a few others here that are. This is not a real picture, guys. This is an artist illustration of WASP 39. Don't get it twisted. This is another incredible photograph. Like, they've done the pillars of creation in a couple of different spectrums. And some of these we've seen already, but let's just take a quick look. The resolution on some of these is insane. Like on the periphery of this is just wild. Wow. That's incredible. What are we looking at here? Southern Ring Nebula. Wait, what? Are these actually... That's fucking crazy. Oh my god. The pillars of creation are just one of those photographs that you see that will always... It always gets you. Galactic get together. That's cute. There's a lot of scream. If there's any life out in the universe, that's a lot of screaming life forms that are meeting their maker at the time. Oh, this one's very cool. New star formation. Again, pillars of creation in another spectrum. Just to give you some different definition on it. A little bit more depth. I think this is the original Pillars of Creation taken by Hubble versus the new, more higher resolution. It's incredible. What a fucking cool nebula. Space is amazing, man. I could talk about space for hours, but I'm not going to. Guys, tonight's Tech Talk wanted to be a short one, wanted to be relatively concise. For those of you who have stuck around till the end, holy shit, how much do I appreciate you? A lot. And for those of you who came in even for 10 minutes, I also appreciate you just as much. But it means a lot to me. It's been a while since we've had a really solid Tech Talk. I am stoked to get them rebooted. We got a lot of good content for next week. We have a live experiment that we're going to try. We've got a couple more demos. Some more interesting things that I want to talk about the AI space that I think are going to be really cool. So you should come check it out. You should tune in. And for those of you who are new, please, every week we're trying to do Tech Talks. They've been used to be on Tuesdays. We're moving to Thursdays because it just works better for me. Hopefully it works better for you too. I love you guys. I hope everyone has an excellent evening. And as I always like to say, keep on looking at those stars. I'll see you guys soon.